What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. And today we are going to be doing the final few touches on this C5 Z06. Now, if you haven't seen the previous videos, today is the final day to enter for a chance to win this C5 Z06. I've partnered with veteran-owned GetEnteredToWin.com, where you can go and buy yourself a cool mug or digital download and enter for a chance to win. Check the link down in the description, which is go.getenteredtowin.com/Tyler Potter for your very own mug or digital download and your chance to win. Now, what we're going to be doing today is an alignment. This car is getting new tires. I don't think we're going to show the tire mounting and balancing of 4 tires today, but what I wanted to show you guys was the alignment, or at least a quick kind of overview of the alignment. This car drives fine. The steering wheel is just barely slightly off. So I thought we would put it on the alignment rack and check and make sure this thing is fully dialed in before it gets fresh tires and before it goes to a new home. Now, this isn't my first time being under a Corvette doing an alignment, but I wanted to show you guys how amazingly nice Corvettes are to align. Big eccentric bolts on the control arms that are very easy to get to. You've got adjustable toe that is super easy to get to. Everything is just outrageously nice and easy to get to. So we're going to get this thing to the shop. We're going to get this thing on the alignment rack and then get it dialed in before the new tires go on, and like I said, before it goes home to one of you guys. So yeah, let's get to the shop and see what we can do underneath this car. Alright guys, so now that we've got the Corvette on the alignment rack, I will kind of show you why I like a lot of American cars, at least alignment-wise, for the adjustability and how you adjust things versus some other makes and models. So guys, looking under the front here, you've got eccentric bolts on your front lower control arms. You've got a bolt at the back, you've got a bolt at the front, and a very easily accessible toe link adjuster up there. So with everything super accessible here at the bottom, you can change camber, caster, toe, and not have to, battle with getting to upper adjustments, this, that, and the other. It is all extremely easy to get to. Now again, jumping to the back of the car, obviously you don't have caster, but we have a big eccentric here at the front for camber, and then again, a super easy to get to toe adjustment here at the rear tie rod. Again, just everything's very accessible, easy to get to. It is just really, really nice to do work on compared to a lot of other makes and models, like I said. Now guys, once we've got the heads mounted on all 4 wheels, we need to compensate the alignment machine, which is just rolling forward so it can read the other adjustment specs. And I know you guys can't really see the screen, but that is what we're doing here. We've got our front pins pulled on those front turn plates. We'll have to hold our brake pedal down. Then we'll be able to get our steering wheel turned so we can measure our caster. And then last but not least, we've got to center our steering wheel. So all of our alignment specs can be made, obviously, or adjusted with the steering wheel centered. And that was kind of the thing that we were wanting to correct here was our offset steering wheel. And guys, here you can see the two tools that you use. There is a brake pedal depressor and a steering wheel holder. It all just kind of braces off the seat to hold those into place. So now we can go up on our alignment machine and see where the vehicle is currently. This is before adjustments, how this vehicle was already driving down the road. And honestly, camber, caster, front and rear, all is fine. A little bit of difference side to side is fine, not gonna hurt anything. But our toe is what we want to straighten up here. Our rear toe is decently out, and then our front toe with the steering wheel straight obviously has is toed out. So we are going to, if nothing else, want to correct our front and rear toe and get that all straightened up. Now with alignments, you always start on the rear axle and work then forward, because if you start on the front, adjust your toe, and then adjust toe in the rear, your steering wheel is then going to be off. So like I said, you always start in the rear, do any adjustments that you might need to do, and then move forward, because even though it doesn't really make sense, any rear toe adjustment will directly affect front toe or steering wheel straightness, I guess I should say. So I probably won't really record the whole 30-minute long process, but I will at least throw the camera under there, and I can maybe overlay a little bit of talking over the footage of what I'm doing. So back here in the back, you can see we are getting ready to break the jam nut loose on that rear tie rod end. Once you've got that jam nut loose, you can super easily, very accessible, you can get a wrench on the actual inner tie rod and then turn it, depending on which way, if you need to add toe or remove toe, is which way you're going to be moving that. Now the kind of finicky thing on toe adjustment is when you are tightening that jam nut, it is moving all of the slack that there might be in those threads. So you could have that perfectly adjusted, tighten that jam nut, and the figure is going to be completely off. So it a lot of times takes a ton of tightening and loosening to get it to the right number once you are finally tightened, or once that jam nut's tight, it is going to be a different number than when it's loose. So it always takes a ton of time to kind of play with the jam nut and finally get it correct. Now jumping up here to the front, you can see how super easy it is to get to both of the front lower control arm eccentric bolts. You loosen the side with the nut, and then you can grab a wrench and twist the front or head side of that bolt, and you are slowly moving that control arm in and out to get your camber or caster dialed into place. So in this specific vehicle, we had to pull in the rear adjuster, and then here we are on the front adjuster, and we are also going to slide that in just a little bit because we are pulling a little bit of camber out to make the left and right camber equal, but you've also got to take into account that you are going to be adjusting caster while you are playing with camber. So it's a lot of things to think about, but again, it just takes a lot of small movements and checking your specs to see where you're at. And once you finally get that dialed in, you are ready to move on to the front toe, which is always your last adjustment. Again, very similar to the rear in this case with the Corvette, where we are getting the jam nut loose, and then we are adjusting that inner tie rod, which threads itself in and out of the outer tie rod to change or adjust the toe. And again, just like the rear, when you tighten that jam nut, it always moves the number or the spec that you are sitting at. So you've got to constantly kind of slowly work that jam nut tighter and adjust that tie rod until you can get it finally dialed in and perfect. There's definitely an art to doing an alignment correctly. You can do a sloppy alignment and have things close, or you can spend the time and do it right and get the thing dialed in. All right, guys, we are way more dialed in than this car was before. It should, or it has to drive better. The toe being towed out in the rear hurts straight line stability, and then we had decent toe out in the front, which is only going to make the car even more twitchy. So here's where we ended up. We moved our front camber. We reduced it just a teeny bit to match our right side, and then again brought our front toe back into factory specs here. Our rear camber again was super close, and then dialed our rear toe in almost on the edge of being out of spec for toe in. And guys, just like that, we've got a lot more dialed in car for one of you to hopefully take home. Like I said, we've got our camber, caster, toe all set in the front. We've got our toe set in the rear, and this thing's dialed in. Now, no, was the alignment terrible? Hell, absolutely not. But now that we know we've got a perfect alignment, we know brand new tires are going to wear correctly. The car's going to drive nice and straight. Our slightly off-center steering wheel is now perfect, and this thing's going to be ready to kill some more tires in its future. Now, I'm not gonna bore you guys with mounting and balancing tires here. You guys have seen that done before. But yeah, I've got some work to do to get fresh tires on this thing and ready to go to its new home. But definitely don't forget, tonight is the deadline to enter to take this new C5 Z06 home. Now check the link down in the description for the link to go obviously enter to take this thing home. It is go.getenteredtowin.com/Tyler Potter. Go on there, get you a mug, and hopefully take home a new C5 Z06 with a good alignment and fresh tires on it. And guys, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.